What's up, Lego builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios for another week of Building Cato Neimoidia. This week, I am hoping to get started on the city, as well as get a bunch of work done on that Easter egg area that I was working on last week. I want to get that one finished up because I think I'm getting near the end of the rock work as far as the height goes. Originally, when I first started this mock, I was thinking about going almost as tall as Utapau was. And then I put the platform, I put the dark bluish gray pad in that's going to hold the city up, and realized other than like having it be a little bit above that pad, I don't need to go any higher. There's no reason. I don't think it'll make the mock that much cooler, and it's going to eat a ton of bricks and time and money. So I got really excited when I realized that, because then I realized I'm pretty much done with the rock work. I'm getting really close. And so now it's time to really throw myself into the city and start working on that. So I want to get that Easter egg area done so I can, be that much closer to being done with the rock work. Also, exciting news before we get into the mock today, I am launching new merch. So I've got a bunch of sweatshirts up on my merchandise store. Everybody's starting to dress warm, getting those coats and sweatshirts. So make sure to go ahead and cop your own Coconut Brick Studios sweatshirt so that you can stay warm and stylish this fall and winter. I'm going to put a link to my store down in the description and in the comments, so if you want to check that and get a sweatshirt or a t-shirt or a sticker or a mug, I got all kinds of cool stuff there. All the money that goes into the store comes back to the channel, helping me build mocks, helping me upgrade equipment, helping me just maintain the channel. And so if you want to support the channel, that is a very great way to do so. The city is going to be interesting. I do have some pretty interesting stuff planned for that one. This is going to be a very difficult shape to capture because there are a lot of curves. And as you know, curves are very hard to do in Lego. So I have a lot to do this week. Probably also be working on some rock work because of course. But yeah, that's about everything I have. It's time to start building. So here's the plan for this week. I'm going to be starting up here in this Easter egg area again, working on these doors. I want to try and see if I can build the doors so that they can open and close, because at first I was just going to build them in place, but I thought, why not have like a fun little play feature and see if I can open them. So I took out this little chunk of rock work right here, because these doors, pretend this is the door. If they open like this, they're going to slide back. They're going to have to poke through this wall right here. So I'll have a little gap right here and then have them open back in this direction. The challenge I'm facing is behind both of these rock slabs are going to be a bunch of filler brick, which, the door is going to need to go flush to the rock work like that. And that's where the filler brick is going to be. Basically, the back of the wall is going to look like this. And so I'm going to have to figure out how to stick a door in and then still put filler brick in there. I think what I might do is build the door, put it like this, and then build like a frame around the door, if that makes sense, and then continue the rock work up above that. So there'll be like a little hole right here for the door to kind of go in and out, and then I'll basically mirror that same thing over there. If that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry. That's kind of the best I can explain it. It's, still a pretty rough design process. I still am not the best at explaining it because I'm still trying to figure out myself, but I'll get to work and then check back in when I've got more to show you guys, and hopefully it'll start to make a little bit more sense. All right, I have been busy working on this little door area. So you can see I've started to get more of the frame in, so I can kind of show you guys what I have envisioned right here. So starting off, we've got the frame of the bunker door right here. Just a classic dark bluish gray frame, tiled off the entire front of the bunker, because I've got these tile pieces at an angle underneath the roof and then next to the wall. I did this to kind of create an angle. That way it wasn't just a 90-degree angle right here. I feel like, your classic bunker doors got this more angled look. So I had to put this plate on the front of this to kind of cover up the hinge piece that's holding up this tile, basically making it look like, it's actually part of the frame. And so to make sure that this plate was also flush with the front, I had to tile off the entire front section. I think it looks pretty good though. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I did raise up the tile one stud in here just because I felt like, if you have like a bunker or some kind of or base, you're going to want it raised up a little bit from the outside. That way, not as much dirt and stuff gets tracked in. You can see I've built a track behind the doorway. This is where the door is going to sit. That way I can open it and it'll just slide through this track and then pop out here. And then this one is just going to pop out here inside the mock. Here you can get a better look at how I got those tiles to be at an angle, and you can also see why I wanted to put a wedge plate right there. That way that whole thing gets covered up. It's just one of these hinge bricks like that. Then there's a little 1x1 stud with a stud on the side in there. And then this tile just connects to it Look at that. Nothing too crazy or complicated over here, but I feel like it's starting to come together pretty nicely. I feel like this bunker door is going to look really sweet once I get the rock work built around it. It'll look like there's some kind of bunker base just built into the side of the mountain. I may end up changing the color of the interior here too. It's all dark bluish gray right now, but I think I might swap that to light bluish gray. So I'm going to continue to work on this, and when I've got more to update you guys with, I'll check back in. All right, guys, update time. So my brother's over, and he was kind enough to build a ton of these little cable links. So we got the ones with the ball joints, we've got some with the sockets, and then he had the great idea to make some mini ones. So we have this mini version of the cable that's actually going to go right here. It's going to be the first link, and then it'll jump to the bigger ones. And the reason we decided to go with that is actually because I ran out of the big or the single ball joints. You can see these ones are the double ones, so there's a ball joint on each side. And so in order to be able to use those and make my parts go further, he made a bunch of these little ones. So these are going to go right there. Basically, I just saved myself 4 big cables, which is really nice because now I'm that much closer to being done with all the cables. So what we're going to do next is basically put them all together and see how much of a cable we can make. We should be able to make at least one, maybe part of a second one. We'll see. But that's exciting because I'm getting really tired of buying these parts over and over again. You can see a lot of them too are kind of half finished because we're running out of tiles and cheese slopes. So I'm going to go ahead and get those on there now. Time for a quick little update. So now that everything's in, I noticed that when the doors are closed, there is a little bit of a gap at the bottom of the doors. And that's because this right here is kind of bowed. So the top of the doors are hitting first, and then because there's a little bow right here, the weight of the door is just making it sag down. So it's tight up here. There's a gap down there. I'm probably going to have these doors open during the mock, so that's not going to be an issue, but it's still kind of bothering me. So I have a solution, but before that, I also got to say another problem I was having with this is it's so heavy and it's not being supported by anything that it was starting to sag a little bit. And you know, when I'd push right here, it would break it down and like kind of shove it down, and I was in danger of like making this whole thing collapse. So I came around back and I put in a support beam underneath the mock right here. You can see it's just a bunch of Technic stuff running from the ground all the way up to the underside of this platform. So now I can push down on here safely, and I don't have to worry about continuing to build up higher because now that extra weight isn't going to cause this to sag down. So I think I'm going to do the same thing, put another one of these supports in right here underneath this door and lift it up like that. That way when the doors close, there won't be a little gap there at the bottom. I also got some more of those cables put in that my brother built. So I've got part of a cable right here, and then even more, almost all of a cable right here on this side. So I'm getting really close to being able to finish this. I've got 30 more ball joints and socket pieces coming in the mail, as long as there's a ton of slopes, tiles, everything to replenish the stores for these. I don't know if I'm going to build all 4 chains at once, but I would like to have at least one side completely done so I can start to see how I'm going to transition these cables into the city area. I also do have a large order of parts coming in that are going to be the beginning area of the city right here. So I think next week we're really going to dive into what the city's going to look like and how I'm going to put it together and like what's going to be going into the different components of this city, which is going to be really exciting. I decided to end the week by doing some rock work on the second cliff face. Needed some rock work, and I didn't really want to start on the city yet. I wanted to save that all next week so I could start fresh with, you know, that new project. Also, I needed something to do while I was streaming, and this is, you know, always a good go-to for streams. You can kind of see for part of this time lapse I'm going to be on my phone and stuff because I was actually doing this while live. Funny enough, there's a bit of a transition from this clip to the second clip, and a lot of progress gets done between the two because I moved my camera but forgot to press unpause. So I did a bunch of work without realizing that I wasn't recording. Anyways, this is been a pretty productive week. I'm pretty happy with how that Easter egg looks, even though that was like one of the only things I was able to do. I was really able to focus and get pretty much all of it done. And I'm really excited for those mini links that my brother built for the bridge. This just means that those cables will be a little bit shorter, which means the city will be longer, and I'll be able to use more parts in the collection for the mock. Over here, this rock work that you're looking at is getting pretty near to completion, kind of like what I was saying before on the other side. I'm not going to build much higher than that dark bluish gray pad. Maybe I'll do like 2 or 3 rows above. So I honestly think I'm about 80% done with the rock work on this side, which is really cool. You can also see I'm really starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel with parts. I'm using pretty much any piece that I can find that's remotely rectangular or square in shape, and I'm kind of just digging through each of my bins trying to find, you know, different parts in the different colors. Anyways, that wraps up this week, and after the time lapse is finished, we'll hit the outro. I hope you guys enjoyed this week of Building Cato Neimoidia. So, as you saw, it ended up I didn't really do any work on the city, and that's just how it goes sometimes. I'll plan out what I want to do each week with Cato Neimoidia, but ultimately what dictates what happens is what parts come and what parts I have. And the parts for the city didn't come till much later on into the week, to where I had already started, you know, focusing on other projects, so I didn't want to then dive into a new section or project that late in the episode if I didn't have to. So I decided to save that for next week. So I'm sorry if any of you guys were really excited for that. That's just kind of how it goes. That wasn't necessarily my plan. I was planning on, you know, starting to work on the city and plan it and show you guys what I got going on there. But I was happy to get that Easter egg area pretty much finished. There's a couple of small things I need to do, but for the most part, it's pretty much done. I think the bunker door looks really cool, and I think that's going to add a lot of fun details to the mock and help make the rock work look more interesting, even though, you know, that's not actually in the scene that I'm trying to build. That wraps up this video. Don't forget to let me know what you guys thought of it down below in the comments, which was your favorite part, if you guys have any feedback or questions. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to leave me a big thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future content. But until next time, happy building.